Hello and welcome to the Pinfall. Today we're previewing the 34th annual Royal Rumble event. We are truly on the road to Wrestlemania. Joining me today, as always, is Barnsey and Jordan. Lads, how you doing? You excited for the Royal Rumble?
Yeah, I can't wait, mate. This is literally the best time of the year for I think most wrestling fans. Obviously, doing our rewind shows just really built it up for me to look forward to this year's Rumble. And yeah, obviously we'll discuss what we think is going to happen. I think it could be a really good one. So looking forward to seeing what we think.
Yeah, Rumble's always good fun. So yeah, definitely looking forward to this one as well.
Yeah, looking forward to it as well, especially with us doing the Pinfall rewind shows. Watched a few of the old Rumbles as well. I think I've watched 97 and 2010 randomly on the network. So yeah, really up for this year's Royal Rumble. As we record this, we're 72 days away from WrestleMania. So to set the scene, obviously, we have the men's Royal Rumble match. First off, let's take a look at who's confirmed on Raw and SmackDown. So which favourites who have been confirmed on Raw would you say are sticking out? Barnsey, first one.
I think I'll just say Randy Orton straight away. I think he's been on such a big role this year. He's been in the main event pretty much throughout the whole pandemic. He's obviously got this feud going with The Fiend and Alexa Bliss at the moment. And I just want to say straight off the bat, that RKO he hit on Alexa a couple of years on from discussing the Nia Jax spot at the Rumble in 2019. What a man. I loved it. I thought Alexa took it so well as well. And yeah, he's just on such a hot streak. I think he's definitely got to be considered as potentially or having a big say in this Rumble. Maybe not winning it, but having a big say.
I'm going to go for Mr. AJ Styles. I think over the last few pods, it's probably become very apparent that I'm a massive fan. And if we are entering the golden years of the Phenomenal One, a Royal Rumble accolade for him would be excellent. And another main event at WrestleMania is, I think, something everyone would like to see.
Yeah, I think especially they did the that documentary, didn't they, as well? And it just sort of highlighted how good he is. And it would be sort of quite nice how it sort of come full circle for him, wouldn't it, as he made his debut at the Royal Rumble?
Yeah, it'd be class. And I think with him and McIntyre as well, you just know it would be the whole feud build-up would be excellent because they're both really good on the mic, great in ring. And with Omos in AJ's corner as well, it sort of helps with his stature against sort of someone the size of Drew.
Yeah, someone on Raw this week, Edge announced that he was coming back. I'm really happy that he's coming back and going to be in the Rumble. It's sort of predictable in a way, but it was sort of a shame they didn't leave it as a surprise. But he's got to be considered one of the favourites because if he does go on and win it, it'd be really nice to see him in a title match to sort of win back the title he never lost.
Yeah, there's some quite good angles they've gone with, which I'm quite intrigued about. Not only the Edge one, which, yeah, like you say, it would have been really good if there was a crowd because I think we've discussed in the WhatsApp group that it would have been really good to have that pop again. But because he come back last year, for me, it sort of feels like I think just with the way the world's going and his injury and whatnot, it's sort of like for me, it feels like someone's telling him mate, you've had your day, just rest on what you've had. But obviously he's coming back, and this year he's gone on with the angle that he wants to reclaim obviously what he never lost. So yeah, that's quite a good angle. And another angle I'm quite intrigued by is the Mustafa Ali retribution angle. And about time, 4 or 5 months down the line, we're actually getting a really good storyline for them. And you sort of feel like they could have done something like this to start with. So obviously on Raw it was announced that Mustafa Ali was taking Kofi Kingston's place in the Rumble because he's injured. And it's sort of a couple of years on from the Kofi Mania story where Kofi Kingston replaced Ali in the Elimination Chamber to sort of start the run, and then obviously that build to Mania where Kofi Kingston went on and beat Daniel Bryan. So yeah, there's a few good storylines, and yeah, we'll see how it unfolds. Obviously they can't all win, so there's obviously going to be a lot of losers, but yeah, that one's definitely got me thinking.
Yeah, the only other one on Raw I was sort of put down was Sheamus, because obviously there's this sort of storyline going on between him and Drew McIntyre, and you just think is it setting up for Sheamus to turn on him? And if he wins the Royal Rumble, maybe it's sort of they always seem to want to have this match, don't they? And it'll be maybe they've always wanted to have it at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, they keep teasing it, so are they going to have it on the biggest stage of them all? For me personally, I don't think it warrants it. I think there's better matches they can do for Mania. And then a sort of a long shot, if you're talking about sort of storytelling as well, is with Miz having the Money in the Bank, what about Morrison winning the Mania? You know, I love them together because I think they're just excellent comedy. But could you sort of, put that in there, having Miz maybe cash in and knowing he's got Morrison, or are they going to maybe even go for both heavyweight belts? Who knows? It's a bit of a long shot, but it's an interesting one that does add to another dynamic.
Well, that's sort of what's good about the Royal Rumble, because there's two brands. So obviously one brand's going to have the winner of the Rumble, and the other brand can go off on a completely tangent storyline. So if someone from SmackDown won, for example, you could see the Miz or Morrison doing really well out of it and maybe cashing in at some point. So there's a lot of intrigue as to what could happen. And obviously, going into Mania season, you want the big stars at the top. So see what happens.
I think as well with the Rumble, it's the only sort of time where it doesn't matter how the wrestlers books. You go back to how big a star they are. Like all the ones we've listed. If they won it, I don't think you could really have too much issue with it. You sort of, everything that comes before it goes out the window a lot, and you sort of go from that Rumble onwards is what they're built towards. So it does just show how stacked WWE still is with talent.
Yes, I think that's the Raw side covered, would you say? Let's move on to who's confirmed for SmackDown, who we think could potentially go on to win it. George, want to go first?
Yeah, I think he will win it as well. And I said it in the Rewind pod about when Lashley came out as the IC champ, and no one's ever won it with that belt. And I think Big E, I genuinely think he's going to go on and win this Rumble. If not him, I think AJ is my second pick. But I think this is the year of Big E. I think they're just going to... They've got to top what they've done with sort of Keith Lee and other accolades. And I think this would be the start of it. Giving him this sort of the first one to be IC champ and Rumble winner.
I'll go next. On SmackDown, someone I'm looking at who could potentially go on to win is Daniel Bryan. Over the last few weeks, he's been making stars out of other people and making them also Rumble contenders, which we'll come on to later. But Daniel Bryan, you've got to feel that he probably hasn't got too much time left, and he's never won the Rumble, and him versus Roman Reigns would be an awesome WrestleMania main event. So he's definitely got to be considered one of the favourites going into this.
Yeah, I think he goes up there with sort of AJ, where the career's coming to an end soon, so you want to give them the stuff they haven't won yet or done yet. So he definitely goes into that AJ fold.
Yeah, I've seen, I think recently, an interview with Daniel Bryan talking about potentially doing part-time and maybe having one big run before that sort of happens. So it'd be interesting if he was to win it. He's obviously had that big WrestleMania moment, where he went on and won both the belts in that amazing night. So I personally wouldn't really want him to win. I think he's had big moments, and there's lots of other stars that can be made now, and just a couple of them I think just recently on SmackDown have just been elevated themselves so much. Nakamura, I think obviously Jordan's a big fan of him. He said it a lot of times on the Pinfall. He's really come to his own, and he's got his old music back. They've sort of separated a little bit more now from Cesaro, and that was the other guy I was going to mention, the King of the Swing. I just love him. I sort of want him to win, just because it'll be so good. I think he's given everything to WWE in the last sort of decade, and they like to reward people. So it'd be nice if they took a punt on him. I can't really see it, but that for me would be a really interesting one.
Yeah, it's good how in the last few weeks they've built up Nakamura and Cesaro. And when we was talking earlier, we were saying how it's good that SmackDown have built these two guys up in a 2-hour show. And on Raw, they've not really built anyone up, and they've got a 3-hour show to work with. So SmackDown done really well making Nakamura and Cesaro sort of one of the favourites maybe going into this.
I was going to say as well, for the both of them, there couldn't be two better champs to face if they win it, because we know sort of the sticking point with Nak and Cesaro is they may not come across as the greatest on the mic. It could just be because English is not their first language, so it does become a bit more difficult. In Drew and Roman, you've got two people who are excellent on the mic, and they could carry them through a good feud. So the two champions definitely suit those two if they want it. But yeah, like you two, I think like WWE could do with building a few new stars. It's certainly a gripe with one of the title matches we see on this card about bringing back the old heads, because you've got to start developing others like Sami Zayn, for example. Why not give him a WrestleMania to go to? He's been excellent recently. With and without the belt, he's become almost meme culture on the last SmackDown with all those sort of meme photos he was doing. And again, he's just excellent. So that SmackDown especially have some talent that are ready for that next step.
Yeah, the only other name I want to throw into the hat from SmackDown would be Jey Uso. I mean, we spoke about it when we was reviewing the year last year, how much we enjoyed the matches, enjoyed the feud, and I still think there is something there, and it'd be quite good if they did maybe revisit that just as another option on SmackDown.
It works great with the Roman heel as well, because he would take all the glory as the head of the table. He was the reason Jay's there, and it works so well in that tandem. And I guess the one we all don't want from SmackDown is probably Otis.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, with a few of the other stars, he had his chance at Money in the Bank, and they quickly took that off him. So I'd imagine he won't be in there too long. But just looking at the confirmed stars that are there, they are pretty big stars that have been around and built up big careers for themselves. Either in the tag team field or in the singles competition. So there's just other people we haven't mentioned: Jeff Hardy, Dolph Ziggler. I mean, we didn't even mention Bobby Lashley on Raw, who that would be an interesting angle if they decided to put more gold onto the Hurt Business. Yeah, you said Morrison. There's going to be a few surprises along the way. So see what unfolds.
Yeah, so we've said sort of 10 sort of names have been confirmed who we think have got a chance of winning. But it's also going to be some returns, people who haven't been confirmed, who do have a shot of winning. Who can you see possibly coming back and winning this thing?
I think now that Becky and Seth have had their kid, and you don't want to be changing diapers all day, I can tell you that now from nearly a father of three. So I'm sure he'll be itching to get out of the house and return to normal life in a way. And obviously, if he was to come back, I don't know about you guys, but I'd really hope that he would come back to the burn it down, the face of when he was on Monday Night Raw. But I'm not sure, just because now he's placed on SmackDown, if he would sort of fit into the storyline. I suppose you can instantly put it in with Reigns, but just the way it's going, they've covered that a lot of times. So, but yeah, just from a sort of nostalgia point of view, having Rollins come and potentially win the Rumble would be amazing. Who else?
George,
is there?
do you
Yeah, go on. I'll let George have a go.
Yeah, I had one which would be quite a shock, and that would be Brock Lesnar. There's not been a lot of talk of him lately. I wouldn't put past WWE him returning and winning it. I don't think a lot of people would want to see that. But yeah, other than that, no one else really sort of. I was like, Brock, if he come back, that would really shake up the Rumble.
Yeah, so I've got a few other names I've got down as Bray Wyatt to come back. It'd be interesting as well which Bray Wyatt came back. And also we covered on the Pinfall Rewind about how Mick Foley come down in 3 different forms. How funny would it be if Bray Wyatt did the same?
Yeah.
But I think, if he was in it, I guess he would potentially become one of the favourites. And also, for me, when we were predicting, back in Christmas, who we thought could potentially win, I said Keith Lee, and he's not even confirmed. So I hope he's going to be in it. I'm not sure if he's going to win, but he's such a big guy, and he's so good. He's got to be considered a favourite if he is in it.
Because with the men's as well, we've got, I think, 17 confirmed at the moment. So I imagine there'll be a few spaces for NXT. There'll be a few legends that'll rock up. Depending on those numbers, you quickly run out of spaces left in it. So it'd be interesting who from the current Raw and SmackDown roster who haven't been confirmed do get confirmed when you think about adding in the legends and the some NXT folk who will no doubt make an appearance.
It is that time of the year, like we say, it's the most exciting time of the year, and WWE like having big stars to build up to WrestleMania. So I did have a look at the betting odds, and one person who's really high, who you just like, I just can't see it happening, is The Rock. The Rock is 9-1, fourth favourite, and I think it's just because of that potential match with Roman Reigns at WrestleMania that people have been maybe talking about. I can't see it happening, but yeah. I definitely think Brock Lesnar could be one of them. He's not been around. He's not had any chat with the UFC about returning there. So if he's not doing anything during this pandemic, I'm sure WWE would definitely take him back. And then you've got like the interesting part. Say like one of the champions was to lose their belts in the match, maybe they would enter the Royal Rumble as well, depending on the positioning of the card. So yeah, there's a lot of good opportunity for people to make themselves a star.
What if Goldberg lost to Drew McIntyre and then won the Rumble and went on to face Roman Reigns?
Oh,
I'd probably stop the pod.
Yeah, there's other people who could come back as well. I think like John Cena could maybe make an appearance because obviously, like you said, it's coming to WrestleMania season. It'd be nice to see someone like Aleister Black maybe make a return. I'm not saying he's going to go on and win it, but this is sort of a nice sort of time to return, isn't it?
With sort of legends as well, with the pandemic still going on, it feels a bit. I don't know how far people will travel to come to it, and then that leaves me with two people I'd love to see come off the commentary table and head back to that ring, and it would be Wade Barrett and Samoa Joe. Put them in the Rumble. I mean, if you're going to put people close who are already in the sort of the WWE building, they're two people who need to go in. Even Booker T, if you wanted another legend. And there's been some recent pictures of him that's been absolutely ripped at the moment. So he looks like he's good to go as well. So with the sort of legend aspect, they may just keep it a bit more in-house with people that are sort of floating around already to save sort of any COVID restrictions. I did have Cena down as well because he could do. And then you never know. The Undertaker may even return.
So also most, like you said earlier, most Royal Rumbles recently, we've had NXT stars come in. Last year there was only 2 NXT stars, and they were Keith Lee and Riddle, who are now in the main roster. So there was 2 last year. 2019 there was 3, and there was 2 in 2018. So there only seems to ever really be 2 if they do it. But obviously with COVID, we're not sure how they're doing their bubbles and if they're going to be able to do it. But if they did, who would you like to see in it from NXT?
Well, I think there's only one man that I really would love to see, and that's Adam Cole. Long overdue. You think he's sort of got to be called up at any point. So I'd love to see Adam Cole in it. Notable other mentions would be like Johnny Gargano. Just, the athletic people, the people that can go in there with loads of stamina and withstand, and just perform, and you can trust them guys. Even like Tommaso Ciampa, there's such a big talent in NXT, and guys that have been there for an awful long time now. So I sort of feel like it would be good if they could freshen it up, but then at the same time, you sort of understand from WWE's point of view that they want to keep the NXT brand strong. So you can't lose them all, but I definitely want to see Adam Cole. That's the one I really want.
Yeah, the other one I had, along with, I wrote down 5 because I got overexcited. So the other 4 I had from, apart from Adam Cole, were Pete Dunne, Karrion Kross, Thatcher and Balor. I mean, any of those 4 to go join card, they would be amazing. More out of them, I would like to see Balor, just to mix it with those main roster guys again. I think he's just so good, and he just never really injuries plagued what could have been. We should be talking about him as the big sort of Raw SmackDown star now, and unfortunately injuries and stuff got in the way. So I'd love to see him up there, and then Thatcher because he's just fun. There's quite a lot of people would like to see him go toe to toe with.
Yeah, for me, I think if I was to put money on it, anyone who's going to be in it, I'd probably say Damian Priest, just because of the rumours that he was going to get called up anyway. And he hasn't been on TV much, so if they are doing bubbles, it might be easier to get him on. But yeah, we'll see if anyone from NXT does turn up. But we've had a little discussion now about the Men's Royal Rumble. Now it's time to put predictions down on paper. So who are we going for as the Royal Rumble winner?
I'm going for Big E.
I don't know. I sort of don't really want to put my neck on the line for this. But you've just seen how much talent we've gone through, how much potential there is to come back, how much potential there is to come up from NXT. I think if I had a gun to my head and someone said, who am I going for? I think I would go Daniel Bryan. But I don't really want him to win. But that's my prediction.
That's your prediction. I was going to say Daniel Bryan. I was going to say Keith Lee, but it's not been confirmed. And then I was going to say Daniel Bryan, but you've said him.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go AJ Styles to be different.
If I had to pick two, Wilbs, I would have gone Keith Lee or Daniel Bryan. I've just gone Daniel Bryan because I think that I just think a SmackDown guy is going to win it. So that stopped me going for Keith Lee, but yeah, it's going to be great.
Who do you think's going to get the most eliminations?
For this, I had down Keith Lee.
You're going to stick with him even though it's not confirmed?
I will stick with him.
Oh, God. I think from the confirmed ones, it will either be Lashley or Cesaro. I think if Cesaro doesn't win it, then make him look good. And I reckon he may take a lot out because he's so strong as well, like incredibly strong. So I reckon they may play to that. Yes, I'm going to go Cesaro.
For the same reason, I'm going to go Nakamura. I just, obviously, building them up, keep him strong. I'll go Nakamura. And who thinks they'll last the longest?
See, I was going to go Daniel Bryan for this because I think he might do what he done in previous Rumbles and come in quite early. Yeah, I'll go Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, it's always someone they trust in-ring ability-wise to do a job like this. It's a toss-up between AJ and Sami Zayn for me. I'm going to go Sami Zayn, be a little bit different.
Well, Sami Zayn fan club will be happy with that.
Well, with Sami Zayn, what he's been doing on SmackDown, like handcuffing himself to the barricade in sort of protest. He's sort of the guy that they might hide under the ring for 10 minutes, or he's got that character in him. So, yeah, he could be a good shout.
Yeah, I'll go someone different as well. Then I will say Jey Uso. Cool. Well, that's our men predictions. So let's look at the women's Royal Rumble now. Again, let's start with Raw. Who are you looking at? Who's been confirmed to potentially win from Raw? George.
Oh, go on, George.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just because I'm a big fan, I'm going to go Peyton Royce because we need someone more now than just Flairs, Banks, Baileys. We need the women's division just needs like a bit of like an ejection shot of like adrenaline. It needs something, and we haven't really had anyone to build across. I think like since the Four Horsewomen, we had Ronda for a bit, and then we had some Bliss, and apart from that, nothing else. None of them really sell it alight. So let's have someone new and let's really build them up to Mania. And Royce would be an excellent candidate for that.
Of course, sorry, I tried to interrupt you there at the beginning. I was going to go straight away, pretty much. Why I mentioned Randy Orton, I'm going to go for Alexa Bliss. I think it's been a while since she's been in the title picture. I just love her character. I think she's one that WWE really trusts. She's great on the mic. She's great in the ring. I literally love Alexa Bliss, and oh God, I hope she wins it.
For Raw, someone who a name I'd obviously throw in the hat is always going to be Charlotte. She probably is the best female wrestler. Obviously, it would mean that she win back-to-back Rumbles, but I mean, her versus Asuka for the title is probably going to happen soon. Just a matter of time and when.
Yeah.
All right, I agree. Yeah,
couldn't agree more. And that's the thing. If it's Asuka, Bliss, Asuka, Flair, I mean that is WrestleMania. That is what we want to see at the biggest show. So, yeah, there's a couple of others that, you know.
Yeah, do you have anyone else down who you think who could just seriously win? Because I've got one more.
Is it from Raw?
It's Shayna Shayna Baszler. I just think if you're looking back at NXT, who the two best women champions have been, it's Asuka and Shayna Baszler for me. And I think that just you could write your storyline and your Wrestlemania female main event based on that. So I think Baszler definitely, and she was so good last year as well. So it sort of carries on with that.
Baszler definitely got sort of almost thrown under the bus a little with Becky being so hot at the time, because she is incredible. Baszler, definitely one of the best to come through NXT on men and women's side. So yeah, to be fair, completely didn't even sort of disregarded her because they've been in that women's tag division now. It's sort of you sort of forget about them, but Baszler would be a cool one.
Be interesting as well because you'd imagine that at some point in the Rumble, Baszler and Nia Jax will come to blows. One of them will eliminate each other, and let's just pray to God that Botchamania gets thrown out. Oh dear! Did you see that? Did you see her? Did you see on Raw where she threw not Mandy Rose, the other one, Dana Brooke? Yeah, my God, she tried to like flip around in the air and ended up just smashing her head off the canvas. It was pretty brutal. Saw her getting a bit of abuse online, which I don't really like, but she's got to be careful. She's got a bit of a rep.
Yeah, I think from Raw, I think they're probably the main sort of people that could potentially go on and win. There's probably still some others that we haven't spoke about, but I think they're the main sort of 3-4 who can go on and win. On the SmackDown side, is there anyone you can see sort of potentially winning, Barnesy?
Yeah, I think there's one standout person for me, and that's Bianca Belair. Great personality, great in the ring. Just I think this is for me. I know you'll probably ask my prediction in a minute, but for me, this is almost nailed on that she's going to win. To be honest, I think it's either her, Bliss, or maybe we'll talk about someone else in a minute. But yeah, she's definitely going to be in the final four, 100%. Yeah, Bianca Belair, and well deserving as well.
I think she'll be the marathon woman in this one as well. Off SmackDown side, I couldn't see past Belair either. Maybe Bayley set up Bayley Banks at Mania. But yeah, I just feel like the women's just need something new. So Belair would be just great. Personally, I think the actual whole winner will come from NXT, but we will get to that. So if Belair won it, like Royce, I think we just need something new now, something to sort of really get us excited again about this women's division instead of just always having the same sort of four in the main event.
Yeah, because there's obviously other women on SmackDown who are in the Royal Rumble, but really there's only going to be two potential winners, and that's Bianca Belair and Bayley from SmackDown. I can't really see past anyone else. And Bianca Belair was so good in last year's Rumble as well. She started off so good, dominated the first half of the match. So yeah, I think really from SmackDown, they're the two that really stand out. Let's talk about the rest of the people who could potentially be in it, either returns or people coming up from NXT who could win. Probably one of the favourites is probably Rhea Ripley, isn't it?
Yeah, I think she will win it. I just said at the start, the women's division needs that sort of injection of adrenaline, and who better than Rhea Ripley to come up? She sort of was very unlucky, and sort of they booked her wrong last Mania, and now this has to be the road to redemption. And Barnesy said it on a previous pod about her music hitting, and it's almost like it just blows the roof off the house. And when that hits in this Rumble and she comes down and means business, I can't see past her winning it personally. I think she needs to win it. I think this is the way the women's division needs to go with her now. But there's still other good candidates, but I just think she is what the WWE women's main roster needs.
Yeah, I mean, like we touched on with Daniel Bryan saying that he's made stars of people on SmackDown recently. She's sort of not been on NXT a little while since she lost to Raquel Gonzalez, and in the time that she's not been off, she's obviously elevated her to now be a potential rival for Io Shirai if she does come up. So yeah, she's such a star, Rhea. She needs to be on the main roster, and they could even do it that she was to win the Rumble. There could be at the next pay-per-view, Asuka versus Charlotte, because they have an incident or whatever. Charlotte wins, and you could still get Ripley, Flair at Mania. So there's a lot of potential. This one's slightly more difficult to predict in terms of who's going to turn up, because I think on in the men's Rumble there's 17 confirmed. I think currently there's only 12 confirmed in this one. There might have been a couple of more added in the last couple of days, but yeah, just like what we said as well about AJ Styles and his Royal Rumble documentary. They've obviously just done a chronicle on Bianca Belair as well, and that that's another really good bit of content that they've released. And you always think that they're releasing it in time for the viewers to watch it. They sort of put it in your face a little bit that she's going to be a star. So, I mean, for me, the final four in this Rumble are going to be Belair, Bliss, Ripley, and Flair. That I can't see anyone else out of them four winning it. I mean, if you'd have asked me this a couple of months ago, I'd have definitely said Bayley or Banks, whoever wasn't the champion, so we get the end of that feud. But I just don't think we really need it now, for me personally, anyway.
Yeah. One thing with the Women's Royal Rumble, they've had 3 so far, and they've been very heavy on either NXT stars or legends. So the first one in 2018, they had 10 legends and 2 NXT stars out of 30. 2019, the one we covered on the Pinfall, they only had 6 NXT stars, and last year they had 12 females from NXT.
Wow.
So obviously we're talking about the bubbles, whether they can mix or not. But I think the Women's Royal Rumble needs some NXT stars for sure, or some maybe legends to come back in. Just I do think they might struggle to find 30 people, unless Alexa Bliss wants to come down in her 3 personas,
as they showed on Raw. Yeah, definitely going to see Candice LeRae, I'd imagine. I think she's been in it a couple of times already. She's just solid. Yeah, I think we've said loads of times, haven't we, that the NXT women's roster is absolutely stacked. So they've got a lot to choose from. Don't know if you've got any others that you think, Judd.
Yeah, so I had written down Candice, Ripley, Shotzi, Raquel, and Dakota. There's just an abundance of talent down there. And yeah, they're quite shocking figures, what you just read out, Wilbs, about if there's 12 main roster women confirmed now, that's almost like now you're relying on the legends and the NXT card. But there's still people in the main roster like Naomi not confirmed, and probably some others. So
I don't even think Carmella's confirmed yet.
Yeah, so and then sort of people that bring back Beth, Trish, Lita.
Yeah. What about Ronda Rousey?
I did have her written down as well. She almost goes in the Brock column. That would it's quite a shock and awe.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if she turns up, but I wouldn't actually be against it.
Yeah, no, I think it'd be good. It'd be a nice surprise, wouldn't it? Let's nail down some predictions then. Who are you going for as your female women's Royal Rumble winner?
Do you want me to go first?
Go for it.
I'll go Bianca Belair then.
Nice.
Go on, George. I know you're going to go for.
I'm going Rhea Ripley.
Yeah. I didn't want to pick the same as you guys, but I'm going to go for Rhea Ripley as well. I think we've covered why it'd be so good if she does win, and I'm going for her. The most eliminations?
Belair.
I went Belair as well, but I'm happy to change if you want me to.
No,
I'll change. I'll go someone else. I'll go for Charlotte Flair.
Flair. I'll go for Shayna Baszler then, to be different. And who do you reckon will last the longest? Who's the Iron Woman of this match?
Well, I'd hope Alexa Bliss.
Bliss?
I don't know. I was going to go really random and say someone like Lana, because they could do something really silly with her. But I'll play it safe and I'll go Lacey Evans. She's not confirmed yet, but she will, I imagine, be in it.
She'll probably eliminate Charlotte.
I'll take Charlotte Flair then for that one. Cool.
Nice.
Well, looking forward to the Rumble matches.
Yeah, I was just going to say, is when that 10-second clock hits, it's got to be the most exhilarating sort of 10 seconds of the whole year, hasn't it? Like you're not sure who's coming down, you're not sure what order it is, and that's one thing I really like about this Rumble that we watched on the Rumble from a couple of years ago was when they have the number 30 confirmed, because the last spot when it's like you don't know who it is, it could be anyone, and you're like, right, there's this person's not been in it, and you can list off 4 or 5 people. And then you're like, oh, it's someone completely different. It's just so good.
I think on the bump they're announcing some of the positions. I think they're announcing the first 2 females and the men's 30th, I believe.
I hope not.
Yes,
I'm
not too happy about that.
I'm going to avoid that then, because I just prefer it when I don't know.
I was going to say the surprise is like that's the enjoyment. Just waiting for the music to pop.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how they do it, obviously, with no fans as well, because it's the fans who get excited. They do the countdown. I guess they'll probably pump some sort of crowd effect music. But, looking forward to it.
Because, like, all you see, or all I see recently is just, like, the crowd reaction to Edge coming from last year. And it's just what makes the Rumble. It's just so good. Or, like, when AJ come and this music hit that no one knew until it said, like, phenomenal. No one knew who he was, and then he rocks out, and then everyone just lost their shit.
Nice one. So we've predicted the Women's Royal Rumble winners. Also on the card, looks like we're going to have a women's tag team title match. We've got the champions, Charlotte Flair and Asuka, defending against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. How do you see this one going?
All I hope... Oh, go on, Jod.
No, I was just going to say, I've said it before in previous pods, and I just think they need to scrap these titles now. There's no real women tag teams. I really don't care whoever becomes champion of this. It doesn't affect me in either way. And on the shows, it's like you're looking at a Baszler Jax split, like something's going to happen in the Rumble, it seems, and Flair's having a feud with Evans and Asuka's with Bliss. Like, there is no tag team. And I just think it just needs to go, and it just feels a little irrelevant, this title, to me.
Yeah, they're obviously just trying to get the four of the best women in the ring on the card in addition to the Royal Rumble. And yeah, like you say, there's going to be some sort of storyline that probably pans out of that match and leaks into the Rumble. So yeah, like you said, it's pretty irrelevant for me who wins. I couldn't care. I just hope the placement of it on the card is in between like the Rumbles, or just so you could, when you need to have that break like we got in the 2019 one, you're not missing like Bryan AJ. You're missing like this match because it's just so irrelevant for me.
Yeah, I can see what Jordan's saying about the tag titles. I wouldn't scrap them completely. I'll just sort of build women's tag teams up. And I think this title could do with going over to NXT, and I think it potentially might with the Dusty Rhodes cut, maybe the winner getting a title shot, and it might end up over there because they do need to build the teams up. Because, like I said, it just picking the top 4 women, chopping them into 2 teams and getting them to wrestle where they could do with sort of like building teams and making you care about it, really.
I think as well we've just been discussing the sort of lack of star power outside sort of the top 6, that with if you add Bliss and Asuka into that, and if they just had a women's IC belt, if you put this tag belt onto NXT, had an IC belt that floated between Raw and SmackDown, and give these other women opportunities to hold titles and feud, and that would serve them so much better than these tag teams that last like 2 seconds. Like we've been over it before, like they've split up like the Iconics and stuff, but then you'll get like Royce paired with Evans, and it's just all over the place. And I hope it, like you say, if it goes to NXT, you feel it's in safer hands because Triple H will put it in a good place and build tag teams around it and not split them up or not just put singles people together. But I just feel a women's IC belt would just better serve, especially the main roster. It would just better serve the women up there.
Oh, so who can you see winning this match that no one cares about?
I think they retain. I think there's more story in Baszler and Jack, sort of one eliminating the other in the Rumble.
Yeah, I'll go for a retain as well, and then probably Charlotte against Asuka at the next pay-per-view is my prediction.
Yeah, I'm going retain as well. So one's marked down on the card. The next match we'll speak about is the WWE Championship. We've got the champion Drew McIntyre taking on Goldberg. Now, Jordan, off you go, mate.
Well, yeah, this has been building for sort of, 5 weeks, and it just really pisses me off because the higher-ups to WWE, they scratch their head and wonder why they're losing viewership to AEW, and it's slap bang this. No one wants this. You don't even have to predict this match. You can predict how it will go. It will be 2 spears, try and set him up for the jackhammer, not make it, 2 claymores, and we're done in 4 minutes. And what really annoys me more about this is, if you want to bring Goldberg back, fine. Just don't put him in the title matches. If you need him back, put him somewhere else. And they had a good 5 weeks. They could have given this spot to anyone to build them. Ali, Lee, Black could have come back. They could have given it to absolutely anyone to go, here you go, you've got 4 weeks. You're not going to beat Drew at the Rumble, but go, promo with him, feud with him, show us why you deserve to be at the top. And it's just been 4 weeks of what's the point? I mean, Goldberg's been on it, once since he challenged him? It's just, to me, it's just why WWE is not as popular or is not as big as it should be.
Yeah, for me, I just wish that Goldberg came in and put someone over without squashing someone, if you know what I mean. I'll never forgive him for what they did to Kevin Owens. I think it was like a fucking fast lane, just for WrestleMania, wasn't it? Where they literally squashed him in a few seconds. Did the same with The Fiend as well over in Saudi last year, I think. I just think Goldberg should maybe be given back a bit to maybe someone who needs a bit of a rub. Do you know what I mean? Like someone who could do with a big win. And yeah, for me, I'm not really interested in this match at all.
There's only 2 times this style of match was exciting. That was Great Balls of Fire, Samoa Joe against Brock Lesnar, then Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, because we'd never seen it before, and it was quick and it was frantic and it was just 2 big guys. But now you've just overplayed it, and it's what the scary thing is. You wouldn't put it past them putting the belt on Goldberg. That is what the scary thing really, truly is. And we're talking about then, say Keith Lee gets his moment to win the Rumble and he's going to go fight Goldberg at Mania, which again, no one wants to see. And then it came at such bad timing as well, because on the SmackDown, Adam Pearce and Roman Reigns did some amazing heel work, and it ended up with looking like Adam Pearce was going to be at the Rumble, and it was obvious he wasn't going to be, but because everyone was so scared that Goldberg was in the main event, they thought, Christ, they're doing this again. You don't trust WWE not to do these sort of silly things anymore, and it's why people switch off. And I don't think deep down Drew wants to be doing this. He's the sort of person who would like to go up against a Mustafa Ali and give him his moment next to him at a very big pay-per-view.
Just to act as sort of, I don't know, a sort of defence for WWE, but not something that I totally agree with. But, having Goldberg back, if you ask any sort of casual wrestling fan who watches it now and again, if that Goldberg's going to be at a massive event like the Royal Rumble, how many more buys do they get? And they must get buys, or else they wouldn't bother doing it. And I feel like they've been slightly unlucky with this one just because Drew McIntyre's had COVID. So they've obviously only had the confrontation where it happened and this last week on Raw. So it is a little bit unlucky. But yeah, in a way, if McIntyre was to win, it elevates him a little bit more. He's beaten Goldberg. He's, we already know he's the real deal, but it just, it's another one in his book of people that he's beaten just on his way to cementing his own legacy.
Just to go back on your point, do you not think this just shows that WWE have lost the ability to create stars because they keep bringing people back? Drew McIntyre should be the main event, and it should be, someone going, Christ, like Keith Lee, Christ, he's fighting Drew McIntyre. This is, there's a lot of guys in the roster now who should be bigger stars, and they should feel like bigger names than they currently are to casual fans.
Yeah, I think if you said someone like Goldberg's fighting in 2021, they'd probably be amazed he's still wrestling.
Yeah,
because he was in his prime in 1998. So
yeah, I wasn't saying that I agree with it. I was just putting it from a point of view of what WWE might be thinking, because Triple H when he had that random match against Randy Orton a couple of weeks ago to fill in for McIntyre. He's one of the best as well, and he can just on a sixpence put in like such an amazing, display of 20 minutes in the ring with one of the best as well. It's just they've still got it, these guys. Just not like you say, like 1998.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with WWE. They always want to just get sort of the big name, and they don't want to create their own sort of names anymore. They just want to go back to the old guard sort of thing. And I can sort of see. I don't think Goldberg's going to win, but I can see him maybe being involved in WrestleMania along with people like John Cena and like maybe some other people who haven't been wrestling all year, just to get their name on the WrestleMania cards, just because it's got that sort of star power. But for the people who watch it week in, week out, I don't think that's what we want to see.
Agreed. Yeah.
I just think having Goldberg's not the issue. The issue is putting him where he is.
Mm.
If he came in at number 30 of the Royal Rumble, you'd be buzzing. It's like, great, he's back. Like, he probably, they got to come back in a capacity where they're not going to do too much with the top of the card now. Same as like Triple H, he come back for Raw. If he entered this Rumble, we'll all be sitting here absolutely buzzing. There's probably a good chance he could be in it, but he's not going to then, be going on to Mania or anything. It's just for that brief moment of nostalgia hits, but we don't need to see them in the main event of a world title match now. We just need to see them in, even if it's a tag match, putting someone over. Like, that's where they need to be best suited now.
Yeah, if they're like in the Rumble match and then someone, quickly eliminates them, or do you know what I mean? It elevates other stars. And like you say, we don't just need Goldberg back at the top, but they've gone with the angle for this McIntyre one that he's never won the belt. Is it the WWE Championship belt that McIntyre's got? He's never had that. He's had the Universal belt before. So it's, I like I said, I'm not a fan of it. I was just trying to give it from another sort of play devil's advocate from what WWE think. But you think like at WrestleMania, it is going to be the most watched show of the year. So you do want to have some sort of nostalgia for people that are maybe a little bit younger than us that are watching it. And John Cena was their hero, and if he comes back, it's like, oh my God, it's Cena. It's But I agree, it'd be better if, like for me, if like at the Royal Rumble, Goldberg was fighting one of the big stars now, but not in a title match, just for like when you see one of them special matches.
Yeah, that's just where the issue lies, is just the placement of them. If you did WrestleMania Cena versus Goldberg, it would be quality because it doesn't affect, the company going forward. Like
the Rock Hogan, for example, at WrestleMania 18, it was just so good.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't affect the company going forward because, if you put the belt on someone like Goldberg, you've got 6 months, if that, with him. And it's quite short. It's short-term planning. And sometimes wrestling, what makes wrestling so good is when you have these long-term stories, like how you said Ali's now replacing Kofi. Like, that story's stemmed over years. Like, that's where wrestling sometimes is at its very best.
I think the main beef as well, just particularly with Goldberg, is that his last 6 or 7 matches have been under 5 minutes, whereas with Lesnar people get annoyed by him, but he can still go for 25-30 minutes if he needs to. It's just Goldberg's in the ring, it's like a couple of big hits and it's over. There's no chemistry in the match, there's no like storyline, it's just hit, game over, or hit, defense, get beat. So
And then just like to defend Goldberg, it's not his fault that the higher ups want him to go over. That's just his job. So he's almost, he is put in that hard position where they are going to put the belt on him, and all right, he's going to enjoy that. Who isn't going to enjoy that? But he shouldn't be. He just shouldn't be in that position to start with.
Don't go soft now, mate.
No, it's just it just annoys me that they get these positions of power because of what they did in the 90s. It's just we need to build further along that now.
Yeah, so who are we going for in this match? I'm going Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, I'm going Drew.
Yeah,
I'm praying it's Drew.
Drew for me as well. This one can't be a toilet break though, because if you go, you miss it.
The last match confirmed on the cards for us to speak about is the Universal Championship. We've got Roman Reigns champion. He's taking on Kevin Owens in a last man standing match. Are you looking forward to this one?
Yeah, it's like the hat trick of title fights now, isn't it? And the previous two have massively delivered. The the cage match was particularly good, and it had such a good ending with the handcuffs and just propelling Reigns to be an even bigger star than what he already is. I think this one, again, I can't see anything else but a Reigns win, but I'm sure there'll be some bumps along the way. And yeah, last man standing is always a pretty epic match. You know, you've got to incapacitate your opponent not just for 3 seconds but for 10. So I'm sure there'll be quite a big finish to it. You never know if there's going to be some involvement with Jey Uso and whoever else. So yeah, I mean, I can't see anything but a Reigns win. But yeah, looking forward to the match, to be fair.
Yeah, if the WWE Championship match is what no one wants to see, this is definitely what everyone wants to see. Roman Reigns is just so good. Like, the feuds he puts on, he's building everyone around him as well, which is what you like to see. And Owens is built for these sort of matches. The two previous, the TLC and the Hell in a Cell, this is where he really thrives. And he's almost come out of sort of a black hole now and really shown that he is a main eventer, and he isn't going to win, but he's going to run him pretty close. And I feel like with the Rumble, you always get good returns and surprise appearances. And as the face, who is up? Could Owens bring someone out to sort of equalise the score with Jey? Like, even Triple H has been a good. Always backed Owens. Could he come out and dismantle Jey to sort of almost help him take down Roman? Because that plays into Roman thinks he's the head of the table. Well, Triple H is the COO. There's just a lot that could happen with it, and it's just nothing but gold. I think Roman's just excellent. I loved when he booked Paul Heyman to fight Adam Pearce, and it was like, oh yeah, subject to change, and then just destroyed Adam Pearce. It's just excellent heel work that no one just thought we would ever see from Roman Reigns. And I just love him at the minute. I think he's just top drawer.
Yeah, I agree completely with what you guys have said. Really looking forward to the match. It's built up really nicely. Really good storytelling in the last few weeks to build this one up. And yeah, I think, like you said, I think Kevin Owens give a good show of himself, but I think Roman Reigns will end up retaining.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%. It's been really nice, hasn't it? I know you're a big fan of Kevin Owens, Wilbs. He's getting some good, good moments in the light again. Nakamura and Cesaro, who we've been talking about now, sort of, revamping their careers. And then on Raw, it's just a little bit stagnant, isn't it? I mean, I see a lot of memes recently on social media about watching Raw compared to watching SmackDown, and you've got the glum figures and faces, and then SmackDown is so good. And I think a lot of that is down to Roman Reigns. He's just absolutely propelled himself now into legacy sort of status. He's going to be, if he continues this, he's going to be up there with Austin, The Rock, Triple H, John Cena. He's going to be a household name. He's just unbelievable what he's doing.
Yeah, he's definitely the biggest star WWE's built since Brock Lesnar, I reckon, in sort of status-wise. And this feud, to me, I give it sort of the highest praise. It has so much sort of Rock Austin vibe to it. You got like Roman playing sort of the Rocky sort of heel, and then you've got Owens, who's similar to Austin, who just wants to come out and beat the crap out of him. He has no other thought in his mind, and it just has that sort of nowhere near the height that The Rock and Austin goes to, but it does have that sort of vibe to it, which I just love at the moment.
Yeah, I just love Kevin Owens as well, like you said, Barnsley, and I just hope that once this feud is over, he doesn't sort of just get sort of left behind. I hope that they sort of continue to invest in him and have big matches on the card.
Well, he could, you can see challengers go for the title and end up in the Rumble as well. Could get KO Mania for Raw. That would be cool.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a good pay-per-view on Sunday. I think the men's Royal Rumble is wide open. Like we've probably said about 15 names who could potentially win it, and the women's one as well. We've probably named 5, 6, 7. So yeah, really looking forward to the 2 Rumble matches. We've all gone the same on the other 3 title matches, but hopefully we see some decent matches.
we'll know, mate, at the Royal Rumble, it only matters if you pick the 2 Rumble winners, so the other 3 matches are sort of just on the card, aren't they? The 2 Rumble matches are what we're here for.
Yeah. I wonder what sort of, like, they do love to throw their comedy sticks into the Rumble. Like, R-Truth always gets one. Like, I keep seeing recently as well when he thought it was the Money in the Bank, and he runs in and gets the ladder out from under the ring and climbs it. I do hope we don't get a 24/7 title change during the Rumble, but I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I look forward to all those little sort of comedy bits that do happen. Or who's going to be the quickest eliminated? I think 3 seconds is probably the record at the moment. I mean, can someone top that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a good pay-per-view on Sunday. Really looking forward to it. Hope you are too. Please join us again. We will be reviewing the Royal Rumble. So please join us for that. We've also got a special pod coming up in February, which is called After Pinfallers. So if you've got any questions you want to ask either of us 3 or the group, it could be about what we think about wrestling, or if you just want to get to know us a bit more, then you can contact us either by Twitter. We are at Pinfall Pod. You can comment on one of our posts or send us a DM. We're also on Instagram. You can find us at Pinfall Pod. Or you can, if you know us, just give us a text. But yeah, please, thank you very much for listening. Please join us again for the Royal Rumble review show. That's been the Pinfall. That's the 3 count. Ring the bell.